Epilogue. The Sky's Fire. Nox awoke to fire. Flames caressed his skin and colored his vision. Around him, burning embers piled high among blackened logs, tipped at offset angles. What in the sky? He pushed himself up, hands sinking into ruby coals as he looked around. Pale white bones glowed fragile with heat next to him. 3 skulls lay in a row, vacant sockets staring skyward. Nox followed their empty gaze, looking up into the night sky. The twin moons were absent but for ghostly shadows hinting at their forgotten glory. Lights flickered in the distance, challenging the stars with their brazen amber glow. Nox rolled his shoulders and ran a hand down his forearm experimentally. His skin tingled like he had scrubbed himself with sand, fresh and new. He touched his face. A short beard covered his jaw. He hadn't shaved in weeks, and yet it lay neatly trimmed. His brow compressed as the questions continued to pile up. Where in the Mercurial am I? Frantic Tumultuan words rolled through the stillness. A soldier stood at the edge of the fire, eyes wide, pointing his longpole toward him. Nox stepped forward, feet wading through the deep bed of coals. The soldier screamed, dropped his pole, and ran into the night. As the sound faded, a voice whispered into his mind. Once. He looked around, but knew he wouldn't find the source. As he stepped from the fire, his foot caught on something buried deep within the coals. Nox bent and brushed aside ash to reveal a charred handle. The leather wrap was gone, but the gnarled contours of his petrified weapon greeted him like an old friend. He clung to the grip, and the familiarity it echoed as he stepped clear of the fire. The tingling eased as the cool night air curled in eddies around him, causing goosebumps to jump on his skin. Where the soldier had stood, a long cloak lay on the ground. He moved with languid ease to the wrap, and after he had covered himself, he turned and gazed back into the fire. It's a funeral pyre. He'd died? The thought felt wrong somehow. He didn't feel dead, quite the opposite, in fact. Although maybe that was the truth of dying, it was merely coming into a truer life. He searched for the heat at his core and instead felt his whole body alight with warmth. He let loose a full-bellied laugh, shaking free the dewy silence of this awakening. This pyre was no doubt meant as a final insult. In death, Tumultuans wanted to be held forever as captives of the earth. He snorted and took in a clearing breath. Not so for the people of the sky. They were released into smoke and ash. Unknowingly, the flames meant to rob him had instead reunited him with his goddess. For all of the commander's boasting, it showed how little she understood of the Mercurial. His eyes settled on the bones glowing within the heart of the conflagration. But ignorance could be deadly. The bones gave no hints of who they were in life. A twist of pain gripped his chest. Emilia? Terran? In shocking clarity, a memory spun through him. Hang on, Nox, Terran's voice echoing through his mind. There had been one last pull, tugging on the thread of power between them as Terran crashed through the barricade, before it had snapped clean and he had been lost to darkness. They made it out. He looked east, toward the capital. Did he follow? The Order would implode at what Nox represented. They were about stability, predictability. The laws, the oaths, all set in stone, complete and immovable. A lopsided grin cracked his features at the thought of Darius and the others trying to figure out what he was. Something new. An overseer no longer, of that he was certain. His skin carried with it a constant flush of heat, a reminder of his connection to the sky. As tempting as it was to march himself to the capital and see their shocked faces, he found he had no desire to walk that path. He turned west. This invasion was now an occupation. Those left in the Reaches needed leadership and protection. He could offer both. "Aye, hands to the sky and turn slowly," a familiar voice said. Knox heaved an exaggerated sigh and turned, unable to keep the smile from his face. It had been a long couple of weeks making his way into the skybound range. Before he could complete the rotation, a small boulder crashed into his legs. "Kip!" Logan shouted, clearly worried. Recognition took only a moment longer. "By the sky, Knox!" Knox flashed Logan a crinkled grin before he dropped to his knees, level with Kip. He nudged her chin with a knuckle. "I told you I'd be back." Her curls bounced in their pigtails, a smile stretching across her face. "I know," she said, her voice clear and light. "The sky told me." The end. To be continued in Skysworn, Book 2 in the Of Earth and Sky duology. This has been Earthbound by Katee Stein, narrated by Magnus Carlssen. This book and production copyright 2024 by Katee Stein. Recorded books are available wherever books are sold. Thank you for listening to Recorded Books.